Hate that warning.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing okay.
Hi.
Welcome to Crimes Against Folk. My name's Edward Williams.
I'm Ashley E. Norton, and this is
Michelle Penington.
We have a co-host today, the
Yay.
inimitable Michelle Penington, a Arizona-based visual artist and a very, very good friend of ours. Ashley happened to be in town.
Yep.
And Michelle's like, hey, let me jump on. We're like, okay, let's do it.
Well, we were talking about our guests today because we were like, we need one more guest for October, and we've kind of been on this Far West month, but
Yep.
we had an opening, and we're like, well, what if we swapped out our guests, and because I'm going to be in Arizona, and we got Michelle on live and just to co-host the show, and she could do it, so we were able to make it work. And Michelle's my best friend, and she's an amazing artist. She did this painting right here, which we've made as our backdrop. I've got my travel set up today, so it's a little bit different than normal. But yeah, we have so many stories to share about. Michelle and I have so many adventures together on the road. It's crazy. So I'm really excited to talk about so many of these things with you guys today.
The ones we can.
Yeah, exactly.
We can remember.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, we need to start writing this stuff down.
I know. It's for the book. We've forgot the book.
Oh yeah,
Or
Yeah.
must be one page.
it's in there somewhere.
And so also today we're going to touch a little bit on tips for collaborating, examples of collaboration, because Michelle and Ashley have collaborated quite a bit in the time that they've known each other. Lots of, and cross-medium too, which is really why I wanted to talk about that today, because it's, songwriting is collaboration. That's what it is. But it's a little rarer to see collaboration across mediums, so painting and music. It's kind of interesting. So we're going to touch a little bit on that today as well.
Yeah,
All right.
it's all the Michelle themed day, basically.
I like this.
So first up, we're going to do some show and tell, which I think Ashley and Michelle jointly sent this one to me. Did you have this photo, Ash?
I just texted Michelle 30 minutes before we started this. I was like, can you send me a photo of you, me, and Ed on one of our adventures? And this is the one that she sent.
It was a particularly fun one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of like a long time in the making, this photo. But the event, we were so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ed and I had been touring through Morro Bay. So this photo, did you share it already, Ed?
Not yet.
Okay, sorry. I'm jumping ahead.
No, go ahead. To do your preamble.
Preamble. So Ed and I go to Morro Bay on tour quite a bit. In fact, we've shared some stories about Morro Bay already. And I've always wanted to get Michelle a show up there, and it's kind of been one of the dreams of hers as well. So we ended up picking up this show at this really cool wine bar called Stacks, and it's right on the ocean, and it's this tiny little place, but they have this huge red wall kind of in the back of the room, and they have a lot of local art on there, and they happened to tell me that they were looking for a new artist, and I was like, well, I've got the artist for you. And I showed them her work, and they got really excited. And so it was kind of a process getting your work in and out of there.
Yeah, because I had a lot of work. It was a good thing I had, was still in California, and so I was able to transfer it slowly. But you should have seen my car. Remember that when I got on my car, it was stacked to the you couldn't even move. So
Yep.
And then the best part about that day, I have to say, is I pretty much dictated, because I'm the short one. I'm only 5 feet tall. And so Ed and Ashley ended up hanging all the art fragments. And I sat back and was like, oh, yeah, that go there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good. And they were so sweet to do that. And of course, I appreciate it, because I can't really hang things high. So.
But she's really good at dictating.
But I am really good at telling you where to hang them. I know I'd be like, oh, I've got that. I'll be right there.
Awesome. What year was this? I cannot remember.
Oh, man.
I have one of my older shirts, so it must have been a few years ago.
It's been about
maybe
2017.
2017.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because you have your
16 or 17?
17 probably.
You have your avian, looks like. So.
Oh, I do. Right. You know what? I think I just got it.
Yeah.
Around then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, and a little plug to the Savory Palette, because I still have art in Morro Bay at the Savory Palette.
Right.
Yeah, 3 pieces there. So if you're out that way, go check it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But that was fun because we ended up doing, so this photo is from Michelle's art show.
Mm-hmm.
So she brought her artwork there, and then they had a reception, I guess you would call it.
Which was so much fun.
Yeah, it was, because of course, we were like, well, we're going to play it.
Yeah.
We finagled this deal. We're going to play your art reception. And we had, little Liz came up too,
Yeah,
right?
and
that's right.
I'm from Southern California originally, and so I was able to have some of my family and friends came up. I had a couple of people come up as well, so that's nice. So
Yeah.
it was a special it was a special trip. That was fun.
Yeah, plus some other things that
Yeah,
we'll share a
yeah.
little bit. But yeah, it was great, and her art looks absolutely beautiful on that red wall. It just really popped, and it was up there for like a couple months, maybe.
Long time.
6.
Oh, it's like 6 months.
It was like 6
Yeah.
months. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
Is that typical length of time, or is that not? Is that longer than usual?
No, most of them are on like permanent basis, at least
Okay.
around here in Cave Creek, where I live.
Yeah.
I've got about 5 or 6 different places that have a few pieces of art here and there. So, yeah, it's nice. The longer the better, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But I could probably switch them out after some time. But yeah, no, it's good. I have it's nice to go to places that have your art up.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So-
must really feel really rewarding.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's a nice memory. I do remember that. I do remember doing that. That was really fun to actually get to hang art. I've never gotten to do that before. So
Yeah, and kind of really study the different, the paintings and.
yeah, make sure that the dimensions are right, that it makes sense. Like you don't think about that too often when you're hanging
Yeah,
paintings.
exactly.
You
Where
don't
they-
think
yeah.
about the shape and like what goes where, arranging them for color. I didn't even think about that. So it's something you probably think about all the time. But
Yeah, which actually helped having you guys hang it, so that way I could like stand back and kind of visualize where everything would look
yeah.
It was fun.
good.
It was fun, and then it all I think there wasn't a single space on any
Oh
of the
my
walls
gosh,
left.
I don't even know.
No,
I've
yeah.
got so much art.
It was all
about
full.
What did you bring?
Oh, it was like 20 something, like 24 pieces or something. It was insane. I don't even know. Yeah, I shoved them all in my car.
Yeah, there were quite a
Making it
few.
work.
Yeah, there were.
Making it work.
Yeah. Are you thinking about doing any more stuff in Morro Bay, or you're just like
Well, we still have
besides
I mean,
Savory Palette, I guess?
yeah,
we want to do that. We want to do a
still
reception
do a
there.
reception there. Yeah,
Ah.
one of these days when everything's a little bit more back to a normal, or they're be easier to travel out there and get people to come up. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, because the art looks great. They really hung it well.
Oh,
was
cool.
Really, yeah, I was really impressed and honored that they really made a little showcase. So it's super cool. So and they're
Nice.
nice people. They're great people. so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great place.
Yeah, so I look forward to that. I'm getting there.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, y'all. It's a really I had forgotten about that. As I forget about most things. So there've been so many memories. That's why we do this, so that we can remember
We
everything.
pull them out slowly.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh, yeah.
Well, the 3 of us have plenty as well. Yeah, we've
Yeah, exactly.
done our own fair share of traveling together. So
Yeah, where else have we all gone together? Like you, Ed, and I.
Well,
Tucson.
we've met each other in Nashville.
in Nashville.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tucson. Yep.
Yeah, Michelle used to go visit me in Nashville,
Tucson.
even before I
Sedona.
moved to Nashville.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've done some road trips around.
We've done Telluride, New
Yeah,
Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah. We've been friends
Texas.
a long time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we've traveled with you
Right.
more than I think anybody. Honestly, funny enough.
Yeah. We used to be like, let's go here.
Yeah.
And we'd just go. Did you go with me to New York too?
No, I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
make that trip, unfortunately. It was a bummer.
Yeah, before I even moved to Nashville, she was going with me to Nashville. We're like,
Yeah.
let's go here. Let's go
Yeah,
there.
that's where we met Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The start of all of it.
All right. So next up,
Oh,
we're going to show one of our little videos,
Yeah.
and this one's very apropos. I don't think we've shown this one yet on the pod, but this is one of our official music videos, and we have a very special guest star.
Yep.
in this particular video.
You might recognize her.
Much longer hair.
You might you may recognize, or you may not, if you if she has longer hair.
Yeah. Chopped my hair
We
off.
both did.
But we're going to feature our video of Deaf, Dumb, and Blind. This is the official music video. So enjoy, everybody.
With a word. With a word. With a word.
I used to know why I loved you, but now it's all gone wrong. The image I cultivated from your sweet silent song. You never said as much, but I invent too much. I do confess we could have had something so strong. Well, you must be deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up, 'cause I can hardly hear over the sound of your madness. You cannot see what this would be, but you're telling me what's going down. My dear, without done pretense, a bit too much, I guess. Your mouth is open, but I can't hear a word that's coming out. Well, you must be deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. You've got your sanctimony. You've got your cross to bear. You've got your acrimony. While I've got a heart that cares. A heart that cares too much to let you go. It twists and turns at night, but you would never know. So I confine myself to visions of a world where you and I give it a whirl. You must be so in love with me. So in love with me. We'll be together in sunny weather. There is no reason we can't jacket's warm too. The dreams I have of you are good and bad, even though we are through. I've never seen love so vivid, so I know the fact that it never, ever once existed at all. What remains of this brain creates a victory hall. I've got my golden palace suspended in the air. I've got my sweet delusion. You will be waiting there.
Hungry for you, and if I lose all control, I might just
Next.
Okay. That was Deaf, Dumb, and Blind, our official music video. And
Do it, Michelle. With a word.
With a word.
yeah, that was I don't know if that's the most, I feel like that's the most we've done for like a music video. Like that's more work I think than we've done, like more choreography, more planning than for the anchor, or not the anchor.
Full on shoot. Like it was definitely a full on.
Yeah, like it was more than what we did for the dragon.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean-
we just kind of winged the dragon. We showed up
Yeah.
and we're like, well, let's try this here and that there. And
Yeah,
That's true.
This was Yeah, this was definitely put together.
There was like a lot. There was a lot more going on in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we came up with that cool intro and the outro as well. So
Yeah.
and it was like Michelle was in town because it was the same time as her art reception there, and so we're like, oh, this is perfect. Will you be in this? And yeah, I was able to sort it out because we needed a receptionist. I was like, Michelle is a perfect receptionist for this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
perfect.
It was so much fun. I loved it.
And we got to put some of your art in there as well, which you all saw in the video.
Another
So
one of my pieces, another big piece.
Which then you got commissioned for another piece.
I
for the
did.
doctor.
And
the
then I got
office.
commissioned from the doctor's office that we were borrowing her office for the day. And she commissioned me for painting, so it was like a win-win.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was Karen Kolba's office.
Yes.
She had recently retired in and that was in, remind me, do you remember where it was? It was like down the road a bit
Santa
from
Maria, I think.
Yeah, it was a stand.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was.
And yeah, she just retired, but she still had the office, and so Howard, and she's good friends with Howard and Barb because they're in the Rockin' Ukes together, and they've been friends for a while, and so she's just like, yeah, just let's use the office, and so we had this whole thing planned, and
Yeah.
it was a good time. That was an interesting day.
Well, the best part was, so obviously
Here it comes.
Yeah, so Ed's like the insane doctor and I'm the slutty bitchy nurse, right?
Yeah.
That's like the roles that we're playing in this thing. So the best is, so I had this like that like little pink bralette on, and then the like kind of busty thing.
Is that what that's called? A bralette?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out of my mouth like such truth.
yeah.
It must be true.
I believe you.
We'll go with that. Yeah. And yeah, we were in the office, and we all had to have these different parts that Howard was filming around the office. So there was a scene where he needed to just film Ed, and so Michelle and I were kind of just like in the front waiting.
But I had to stay in my spot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
couldn't move.
yeah. She had
You both were kind of just hanging out there.
yeah, so she's like behind the reception desk, and I'm kind of like in the thing, and we were starving, so we're looking around for food because we didn't plan that well. And I was like, well, there's some lollipops here, and she's like, oh, give me a lollipop. So we're both sitting there sucking on lollipops, and this the UPS guy was in.
No, and I also
Stop
the
us if
mailman.
you've heard this
Let's
before.
Not forget, this wasn't only the UPS man. The mailman came later, and I feel like
forgot
that
about-
was maybe a. Yeah, they may have.
Oh, they
may
talked
have
to each other. Hey,
Anyway,
Larry,
finish the
get
story.
over to Karen's
Yeah.
office. So we're sitting there in the lobby, and the guy walks in with a bunch of boxes, and he's like, "Well, can you guys sign for this?" And we're like, "I guess so." And I'm like, "I'm not really a nurse, obviously." He's like, "Well, can you sign for it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Well, what are you guys doing?" And I'm like sitting there sucking my lollipop, and I'm like, "Filming a video."
But that's not how you said it. You were like, "We're shooting a video." Like,
Shooting a
anyway.
video.
A
Yes.
nondescript video.
Nondescript video, right? When there's nobody else there but us, and like the back, everyone's in the back,
In my
right?
slutty nurse costume.
And yeah. And so we're sitting there for a while, and then we both look at each
He's
other.
not
and go,
leaving. He was like hanging
Oh yeah,
around.
he did. He looked at each other for a while, and then, like I said, then the mailman came not too long after and showed up. And then it took us a while. And we're like, "What?" And we go, "Oh no!"
Yeah, you guys didn't realize it until.
Music
She
video.
didn't add the word music in there.
Yeah.
We're shooting a video, so we're just like, oh my, no. So yeah, she's like, I'm gonna be the talk of this town.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So yes, adjectives are your friend. This is what we have learned
Right.
from this experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turned out really great. The whole thing turned out so good, and Howard did such a great job editing the and directing the video, and everybody did a great job performing in the video. So I think it was like the most work we've done for
Yeah.
a video for sure.
Yeah. It was a full day production.
But it was totally worth it.
It was so much fun.
It was totally worth it for that song.
Yep.
Yeah. And we had the scene with Ed and I in the field, which we got later.
Oh, yeah.
God, I love that scene. That's just so. That's. So
Where did you
funny.
get that dress from?
I got it from.
Is that one of your Morro Bay treasure
No,
finds?
well, it is a treasure find, but I actually got that in Portland, Oregon, at
Oh.
the Goodwill or no, the Buffalo Exchange. Portland's like really known for their thrifting, so I found it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could not stop laughing. Like we had this, like the idea was just act as insane as you possibly
You
can,
guys
right?
nailed that.
Yeah, I went like all in. I'm like, I'm in.
Did.
So the best is we decided to blow these bubbles into the camera.
Yeah.
And then it was like we were blowing the bubbles, and then Ed and I were gonna look at each other and be like surprised by it or something. And every time we had to do that take like 17 times.
It was a
because
lot.
every time we looked at each other, I lost it. I could not. And Howard was getting so annoyed with me. You know, like I'm literally trying. So it's just being that close to Ed's face and going.
Yeah.
It's like the funniest thing to me.
I mean, we were like probably like maybe an inch and a half, 2 inches
yeah.
away from each other,
Yeah.
our faces, and
Yeah.
yeah, we just it took a long time to get through that one.
Yeah, it's perfect though. That's my favorite scene, honestly. And that's one of my favorite parts of the video. Is
The
that
field.
part, the field.
Yeah.
Guys look like, Ashley looks like deranged.
My inner self coming out.
I like the part with everybody laughing.
Oh yeah,
that was
Oh,
pretty-
yeah,
you were in
Barb
that too,
got in
Michelle.
there, too. Yeah, I
Right?
was in it, and yeah, my evil, my evil laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Made me very happy.
that one was
No, I
pretty
did.
cool.
I very much enjoyed the evil laugh part.
Yeah,
Super fun.
I liked that part a lot too. For sure. So yeah, that was our official music video for Deaf, Dumb, and Blind, starring Michelle Pennington.
Yeah. Which is also
As we always
that was
say,
like your
yeah.
daughter's favorite song of ours for a while.
Oh
too.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
She
Yeah,
would have it on her little CD
She
player.
did, yeah.
and-
they
Yeah.
all the word. Yeah, yeah, that's
I remember
right.
that.
She did. Yeah.
I remember that.
yeah.
That's cute.
All right, so I guess let's get into it, Michelle. Huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's chat. Let's chat. Let's talk.
Let's talk. Talky talk.
So again, just kind of briefly introduce yourself for again anybody who doesn't know you. I think most of the people on here might know you,
Yeah.
but there's a couple people from the UK that may not know who you are.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I am Michelle Penington. I'm a local artist out of Cave Creek, Arizona. I am originally from Southern California, born in Los Angeles, blah, blah, blah. and I'm an oil painter, and I spend my days painting away and, trying to do commissions and sell art and do collaborations with friends. And, it's kind of fun, and I love my little crazy town too. We have the best little town in Arizona, as far as I'm concerned. So
I'll agree with that.
yeah. Cave Creek's a pretty special town, so I definitely I'm lucky to live there. So
Awesome.
I don't know what else do I do. I have kids, but they're older, so that makes it a little easier.
Yeah. What first got you into oil painting? Like, were you doing other mediums before, or did you just like oil?
I don't know. I really just liked oil. I tried a little of everything else.
Yeah.
I actually went to school for photography, and I had
And
to
you're
take.
a very good photographer as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of photo shoots for you guys as well.
Yeah, she did our anchor. She did the album cover that was a photo shoot.
And
for
some of the
anchor.
internal photos too.
Yeah.
And some of Ashley's solo albums as well. And so when I was in school for photography, I actually also went to school for psychology, which is a whole other story. But I had to take some art classes. They forced you to take art classes, and I've always kind of been a self-taught, and I like that because I didn't want to mess with my brain. I really wanted to learn my own way. So anyways, I was given all these mediums to try, obviously, in art class. And the one that stuck was really oil. It just,
Nice.
for me, it was super challenging, obviously, at first. It was a lot of frustrating years trying to figure out how to actually use it the right way. But now I feel pretty confident. I mean, I think, things like the painting behind me, I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's big, huge. It's a 48 by 60 painting. It's
Good grief.
huge painting. So yeah, I worked hard. So,
Yeah.
and I've worked hard to build my business and sustain it over the years, and
What is
being
it
an artist.
about like oil? Like, is there something like can you describe like what it is about oil that you get out of it, particularly like from whether it's emotional or physical or whatever it is, like tactile? Is there something about oil?
You know what? All of it. Honestly, all the above. It's challenging to learn how to paint with it, but it's
Yeah.
easy to manipulate once you know. And it doesn't dry as fast. If you're working with acrylics, as I'm sure a lot of you out there may paint or dabble around, acrylics is usually the one thing, most people will go to because it dries fast, but you can't really manipulate it. It's like it's dry, and that's it. You got to like scrape it off or start, you can't. And oils, they tend to stay, they stay like, well, they don't dry as fast, I should say. They don't really stay totally like wet and easy, but, just kind of easier to get to I don't know how to really say it, just easier to manipulate, I suppose, is a good way to put it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I really just I just like the way like you said, I like the way it feels. I like it's just the consistency and the the impasto. Then you can do those nice big thick paintings and it's fun. It's very challenging for sure, and I love the colors. I feel like oil paint gives you the most vibrant color and the most.
Yeah.
And when you throw a nice coat of varnish over it, it like shines like super. Yeah. So
That's
that's
cool.
yeah.
I think it's the hardest to work with of the
It is.
paints. So
Yeah,
it's
for
always-
me, watercolor is the hardest. I do not have the patience for that stuff. It kills me. Can't do it.
hard.
Can't do it. So yeah.
Which is funny because it's the thing we start with first. At,
I
like,
know,
4
right?
years
Like
old,
finger
you know?
painting and watercolors, right?
That's true.
It makes me nuts. So yeah. And so I paint a lot from my head and emotions and heartbreaks and love and
Yeah, you don't. That's always one of the things I've loved about your art is you don't ever like look at something and then replicate it. Like it's all from the craziness up in here.
we all know there's lots of that. So yeah, I'm all from my imagination. I don't really look at photos. I just kind of I like a lot of like this one. It's a piano that's falling apart and it's dilapidated, kind of the old and the new, and
Yeah, and I wish we should send Ed a picture of this one so they could see the detail of it. But the detail of this painting is so cool, and she does that in all of her work. Like it's not just that. Like there's some specks down at the bottom on top of some broken up sheets of music and flowers kind of wildflowers everywhere, kind of overgrowing. Is that a tambourine right there?
No, it's an ink pen. There's like an ink
Oh,
pen
yeah,
for
yeah.
the music. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I paint a lot of stories in my paintings, and there are a lot of personal stories as well. I can tell you a couple things in here, but I won't say them out loud. But I pick from
I know
different
them.
people, and different people, different stories, different experiences. Like I said, it can be anything from just some crazy idea I've got in my head to love story or a heartbreak story or all the above.
Yeah.
That's
Friends.
cool.
You put a lot of your
I
friends.
do, and I like to incorporate a lot of my friends and cute little things about friends and stuff and paintings.
Which is funny because
stories.
that's what I do. I write, I have a couple songs about you and your experiences. Like not even like I'm going to write this song for, Michelle inspired or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I know the one, but there's more than that one,
Yeah.
And then there's one she doesn't like so much because
We're not talking about that one.
I took some liberties to it that were not true, and she was like, "What is this?" I was like, "It was more fun this way."
No, same thing, yeah. And then, of course, Ashley and I collaborate as well. Sometimes she'll come up with a great song, and I'll be like, oh, I have a picture or a painting in my head for that, for sure.
Yeah, and the way that started, like, our friendship, basically. Because when we first met, well, the fun story is that Michelle didn't like me when she first met me. She told someone, like, verbatim, I will never be friends with her. So, fast forward 15 years later, and we're best friends. It's like, sucker. But it was, and fair, I was actually going through a really rough time back when she met me, and I wasn't, like, in the best state of mind. I wasn't like the friendliest person to be around because of some stuff I was going through, and
It was just a misunderstanding.
yeah, and then I moved beyond that, and I was like, look, I'm free. It was a bad relationship where I had to like scurry home to this like very controlling dude I was with, and then once I was free, it was like, let's hang out.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, she actually wants to hang out. I was like, yeah, I do. But then she came to one of my shows, and I was singing this
At the Wrigley,
Wrigley Mansion. I was singing with Jay, right? Jay Allen?
Yeah, you guys were covering the Romeo and Juliet, Mark Knopfler.
Yep.
Or Dire Straits, I don't know
Yep.
however that goes. But, and I love that song. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely 100% love that song. And it sparked a painting. And then Ashley owns the painting. And then it sparked our business, Juliet Productions, which we do art and music shows. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, speaking of collaborations, it's
Yeah.
like about as collaborative as you can
Yeah.
get. We're like,
Yeah.
let's put on a show where
Yeah.
we book a bunch of artists and we book a bunch of musicians and throw them all in the same room and see what happens.
Yeah, so we've been doing that for several years.
Yeah.
But that was the first painting, was just kind of, listening to them sing that song, and then it's Juliet living, what if Juliet had lived, and so it's her standing at the edge, and then the Duomo's in the back, but the knife is in the ground, and she's
Instead
kind of
in
like,
her chest. Yeah.
yeah. So, and that's where our business came from.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And our theme, Juliet Lives.
I meant to grab it.
Our necklaces.
We have matching dagger necklaces. That
Oh,
we had
yeah.
made. Yeah. I actually meant to bring it.
I wanted to pull up my favorite example of a collaboration you two have done, which coincided with The Anchor. And it was a poem Ashley wrote called Freedy.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a painting that you did.
that.
And I just think it's one of my favorite pieces I've ever seen.
Really?
I love the
should gift
juxtaposition
it
of the
to
two.
you.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I like the size of it a lot too. It's a very big painting.
It's a birthday coming up.
Yeah.
But
Perfect. Happy birthday!
Now we know what we're getting you.
oh, okay. Well, that makes that easy then. But it's interesting because again, this is that kind of cross-pollination, cross-media collaboration that I think is really unique. And I think you start to see more of it nowadays as the internet kind of closes a lot of barriers. But what drove a lot of your collaborations between you two specifically? What tended to do that?
I would say, we're just super close too. I mean,
Yeah.
we know like everything about each other. I feel like it's my visual to her song or vice versa. You know, it just kind of becomes, I immediately will get from the words, just like when I did, you know, your paintings, which I'm sure we'll talk about for your album. You know, it was just listening to the song and then hearing and then just seeing it, because you guys obviously write songs that are, you know, beautiful and have a lot of image to them, which I love. So yeah, that kind of that's kind of what sparks it. You know, she'll come up with something, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a good painting. Like, I can see that.
Yeah, and vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been times where Michelle's painted something, and you know, Elegantly Foolish is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
she's like, this is called Elegantly Foolish, and I was like, that's a great song title. And I wrote it with our friend Troy Powers in Nashville, and it was, God, I need to find that song.
was a
I
good
recorded
song.
it.
I
I this is why we do this podcast, you
Yep.
guys. I'm
Did
telling
you
you, literally,
remember?
stuff is gone, and now we're pulling it out. Like, I would not have remembered that until this very moment. So, yeah, there is that song somewhere.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, amongst others.
Yeah, and that's just one example of so many times we've done that. And sometimes we'll even come up with stuff like Nothing But Steam. We did that together from scratch.
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a. Yeah, that's
Our
always been one of my
ghosty-
favorite.
Yeah, it's above my bed.
That's one of my favorite paintings.
Yeah.
That's something about that painting that's pretty. I don't know, something special, something very ghost-like.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
like that was the idea. Is we
Very
were
New Orleans.
both
kinda.
very attached to Wrigley Mansion in particular at the time.
Yes.
And which is very haunted in Phoenix if you're into that sort of thing, which we are. And let me tell you, we love ghosts,
We do.
Michelle and I. It's like
We
one
do,
of our
yes.
favorite shared hobbies. I don't know. And
We've met a couple, especially in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
We're not kidding.
no, we can. Oh, we have the photo to prove it. In fact. But we, it was like, what if like it's this idea of this woman who's in love with a ghost, and she's like, I love that. And so I started working on the song, and she started working on the painting, and then we kind of released them together. And I did like a little acoustic EP-ish kind of thing with it, and her artwork was on the cover of that, and I don't know, that's somewhere in existence as well.
Yeah. And like we were just talking about when we were off, we were just saying how like we both have all this, like how do I have so much art?
Yeah.
Where'd it come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
And songs. It's like I didn't realize I had that much. I feel like I have 10 paintings, but I have, like 1,000.
Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one, and that one, and that
Yeah.
one. Yep, we do that with songs. We get it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the
Definitely.
time.
Yeah, but I mean, as Michelle is obviously a huge music fan, and I'm such a huge art fan. I mean, I grew up with, my mother was an artist, and I used to be an artist, in fact, and I kind of let it go to the wayside while I was focused more on music. But it's like that's one of the things we share is like the appreciation for the other art form, and how we feel like the two can collaborate so well together, which is where Juliet Productions came from and why we're still doing stuff like this today, these collaborations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I have to say it's kind of fun. It's been fun, just speaking for myself, because, I met you, Michelle, a while ago. It's been a while.
Oh yeah.
And seeing how your art has changed over the years, especially I'd say in the past couple of years.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. It has,
It's
hasn't it?
really remarkable,
Yeah.
like how, like being able to notice that, like to see how it's changed and to see how it's, hopefully grown for you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
it's really
yeah.
exciting.
I love that. You're ever changing. I can't. There's a quote by an artist, and I can't think of it right now, but it's along those lines of like, as long as you're alive and you're an artist, it's always going to be ever changing. Till
Yeah.
the end. So that's good that that's happening, and I'm not stuck. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and done.
Yeah.
I've had a few
I
more
get
years
that.
left.
Have you done collaborations with anybody else? Any kind of cross-media stuff?
Like music or something else.
Yeah, music or whatever. Have you? done that?
Well, yeah, actually, I did. I had a friend.
yeah,
a friend of mine. His name was Asa, and he is a photographer, really phenomenal photographer. And we did these paintographies where he would. I don't know if you remember those, Ed. Where
Yeah, I
he,
do.
Would give me his painting on a canvas, his photograph on a canvas, and then I would paint black and white photograph, I should say, and then I would paint in color and add. So like he had like, I don't know, a scene of Chicago and like up the park in Chicago downtown, and it was snowy, and I added a couple and like kind of painted around some of the, and that was kind of fun. So that's something totally different and new.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you painted directly on the photograph?
Well, so he would have them stretched in canvas.
Oh, okay.
And so then I would paint on so I'd still be painting on canvas, but it was interesting to try and work like what paints would work and not like ruin the photograph and stuff like that. So
Or were you trying to kind of like blend in a little bit and not make
Yeah.
it not stand out too much? Or?
yeah, I probably
Those
You know,
they were so cool.
They're,
Yeah,
they're
they were
still
great.
they're still around. Shane, my friend Shane, has them on his wall.
Oh,
just 'cause,
really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Shane Hunt has them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
That's awesome.
There's we sold a few and stuff, and it just kind of we both have our own lives and families and whatnot, and just couldn't spend a lot of time working on that. I do have a few more to do, so I'm definitely gonna finish those. I have 3. They're Sedona ones too, so they'll be really cool.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, or actually there are 5 of them. 5 left. So at some point, I'm going to get these done when I have the time. So yeah, that was kind of fun. So I'd say that's kind of the other big, collaboration I've done
Yeah.
for sure.
It's cool because I love mixed media too. I love it.
Yeah.
It's kind of mixed media thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
It is. It's a mixed media for sure. So yeah, so that was fun.
Have you guys ever done like the collaboration live before? Have you ever done that? I thought so.
Yes, when we first started hanging out, we were trying to like formulate how we were going to work Juliet Productions and what we were really doing. I would go to her shows and bring an easel and canvas, and I'd sit and paint while she
Yeah,
played.
and we would promote it as that, like
Yeah.
live painting, live music kind of a thing.
It was a long, long time ago, but yeah,
It was. We still have the
yeah.
photos though, where
we both were brunettes.
yeah. Yeah, I just magically became a blonde. It's like,
And
so
we both
weird.
had long hair. We both
Yeah.
were long-haired brunettes.
I know. I can't grow mine anymore. Hers still sometimes gets like down to her waist. Like, how do you do that in a week? Mine
know,
doesn't
my
grow
hair
at all.
Grows ridiculously fast.
But yeah, we've had many many different levels of our friendship and hair through the years. And cities.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were there any? Because we both know you're a very big music fan,
Yes.
Michelle. And are there any kind of standout moments as a fan, like stories that you'd want to share or anything like that? Is there anything like that you've experienced, in your life?
With you mean hanging out with musicians?
Yeah, or just any concert you've seen, hanging out with a musician. It could be.
Yeah,
one of
you
us,
want to
could
know?
be
I have a
anything.
great story on that. So I'm sure you know the band Blues Traveler.
Oh, yeah, I
had
love
the
Blues Traveler.
opportunity. Yeah, so I had the opportunity to meet the band after show. Got to spend a good hour with John Popper, who is a phenomenal human being, and remembers your name, sits down to talk to you, looks you in the eye. Just a fantastic guy and really neat guy. And he's got an imagination like we all do. And he was there was a kid in there and he was telling him these stories. He was making up these dragon stories and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I love this guy.
That's so cool.
I was like
Wow.
that, and he was really kind about my art and, he really liked my art, and we actually talk on Facebook. We're Facebook friends 'cause he's on
Oh.
there, and every once in a while,
Nice.
we don't talk. He'll kind of like us something or
Right.
respond, but he doesn't remember me really. Probably, I'm sure I'll have a picture with him, but that's about it. But
That's super cool.
I'd say that really that stood out because he was such a. I mean, now I've met some that not so. You'd rather just know their music, and I hate to say it, but same with artists.
Oh, yeah.
we can be arrogant too, but. He was just such a neat guy. I was like, wow, this is the imagination on this guy. No wonder your songs are so cool, which I happen to love that band. So,
Yeah. Yeah, they were one of my favorite bands. too.
yeah,
me
just so talented. So, yeah, that
Awesome.
sticks out. That's probably my,
Awesome.
I remember that.
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there. But
Right.
Didn't you give him some note cards too?
I gave him note cards. He goes, wow, you're actually good. I'll never forget that. 'Cause I was like, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what were you expecting?
I
Like,
get that a lot too.
Yeah.
Like people come out and listen and
Yeah.
oh, you're actually
you're
good.
actually good. I'm like, okay, cool. I
Thanks,
think.
like, yeah.
These are the bars we have to cross over as artists. They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're actually professionals and we're actually pretty good.
Yeah, like I was hoping so. Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think more often than not, somebody tells you, "Oh, I'm an artist or I'm a musician," and you go, "Oh, let me see," and they'll go, "Oh yeah, I just do it kind of on weekends, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
good,
you're
you know. But
good,
so
yeah.
you don't often meet like a professional
Right.
musician, or not. I mean, there's not that many of us out there. Like, there's a lot of us,
Yeah.
but as percentage of the world goes, I wonder what that is. It
That's
can't be very
true,
high.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those of us that do it full time professionally, anyway. You know, and for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason other than making money, you know, like being the poor starving artist. Like some of us just do it. We just do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't do anything else. Can't do it. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
know. I know. It's just been scary for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, since COVID hit, it's like, do I have to get another job? I don't. What
Yeah,
do I
like-
even do? I don't.
I have to say, I've had some great commissions, and I've had a lot of people that have been so supportive over this time. And
Oh, it's great.
I've had like commission after commission after commission, and people that are just super caring. So that makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Like
that
you
too,
guys
know.
watching right now.
Yeah.
And you can commission Michelle Pennington for
Yes,
a piece of art, by the
absolutely.
way.
Yes.
Or buy something available. Ed actually designed her website portfolio.
He did.
Which is absolutely beautiful. And
Yes.
If I do say so myself.
He did. He worked very hard at making that, and I'm very proud of it. And proud of him, because I really love it. And yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you guys can browse through that. If there's something if you want to purchase an original piece from Michelle, then you can see if there's something there. You can contact her about doing a commission. Are you doing reprints of anything? Like, will you?
I haven't been printing anything lately, but if somebody wants a print of a sold piece, I don't do prints of available pieces, because that, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Buy the painting.
yeah, buy the painting.
Yeah, my mom was wondering about that because she
Oh,
has the trio
I'm sorry, Alice, I saw
of
that. Yeah.
Fortune favors that you did.
We did prints for somebody. I
Okay.
feel like didn't we make prints of that for one of your,
Oh, we might have done.
well, I think we,
Yeah, my cousin Carol.
that was it. Carol
Yeah,
has
Carol
it.
has
I can remember, that's right. Yeah, and Alice
Okay.
has the
Because they
originals.
wanted to buy the original, and Alice beat them
yes.
to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alice.
that's right.
And yeah, Ed's mom has been so supportive, and she's bought pieces for me, which thank you, Alice. It's really amazing, and it means a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's who we made them for. I couldn't remember.
And then there's our favorite collaboration we've done, which is the recent one where Michelle did a painting for every song on our Human album. So that's, if you guys are unfamiliar with our music, our latest album release is called Human Album. There are 7 songs on there. Michelle painted the cover, and then she also painted something for every single song on there. So the whole it's just an EP, but the whole EP tells a story in art, in music, in lyrics, and everything.
Yeah.
From like all of it, and it's all in there. So if you have the CD, you are very familiar with Michelle's work, because
Yeah.
that's her right there.
There's there were some great so I listened to every song very carefully and listened to, you know, their creative lyrics and music, and came up with my version of each song, and that I really had a blast doing that. That was so challenging and fun for me. And there are a couple paintings in there that I actually personally love.
Yeah.
I love the girl with the scar, you know, sitting on the beach.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably one of my favorite paintings, honestly, that I've done, and I don't know why. You know, sometimes there's something in it that
I
you
love
just
that one.
you can't, you don't know why, you just love it. And then everybody's favorite was Vagabond Road. Everybody liked that, you know, with the in your sunglasses. With,
Yeah, I really like
having
that one.
Yeah, and Ed
Yeah,
driving.
that was my favorite.
Yeah, I think that one, to me, it was a little surprising. I think because I feel like you don't do close-ups very often.
No, not
So
really.
that
yeah.
was like a surprise, and I was like, "Oh, wow, that looks really good."
Yeah, I really like that one a lot.
Yeah.
So that
Is
was,
that
yeah,
is that
thank you.
actually me? That the girl in
Well,
that?
I mean, close enough.
Yeah, okay.
you
It's
know,
pretty
just-
close, I would say.
Yeah, it's your nose. That's about, you know.
Right. It's, and hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it is now.
I may have given you a little bigger lips. Not that you don't have beautiful lips, but like, they were like big red lips, you know, in there, just because they had to look like, you know, it had to like
Maybe I had lip liner on.
You had lip liner on.
Well, because sometimes she'll paint things and people will be like, "Is that Ashley?" And we're both like, "No."
Oh my gosh, that's over the last 15 years we've been friends. I cannot tell you how many times people have said that to me.
Oh, like the redhead? Is that
like,
no?
Is that Ashley? What? No?
Although I do see some of our other friends. Like I have one of the ones, and it just every time I walk by it, I see Brittany. I'm like, that looks so much like Brittany.
You know, and I think what happens too is, you know, when you're painting from your imagination, you definitely are. You're incorporating people. I mean, all the time. You don't realize it. Like, but I guess I do probably use my friends as inspiration more than I think. Mm-hmm. So there's probably a little truth to it. There probably is a little Ashley or a little, you know, whoever, and you know.
Well, isn't that how Fortune Favors came about? Didn't you like accidentally paint Ed?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Yes.
Yep.
And Alice commented.
Yeah.
And said that looks like Ed.
Well, I used that as a model for it,
Uh-huh.
kind of, but it wasn't meant to be like you guys. And then she was like, if you
like,
throw Ashley in it, I'll buy it. And I was like, well, all right, let's see what happens. And I was like, oh my god, that's like perfect. It was like, yeah.
That worked out so well.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
Yeah, with the sunsets, and then there were 2 other pieces she has with it too. Remember, there were the 3.
Right?
Yeah, it was
it's
a-
a series.
3,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
That's so cool.
And I love to paint music and musicians and music and the whole. I musical instruments. I don't play, so I paint them. I paint a lot of guitars, which is fun. I have no idea what anything's called that I'm painting. The little dealy here and the knobby there. But I have a lot of
Dealy
fun
knob.
doing that.
Yeah, we don't know what they're called either. Don't feel bad.
But Dealy and Nobby makes a lot of
Dealy
sense
and
to me.
knobby. Sounds very British, doesn't it?
But we've got a lot of Brits watching
Oh,
right
good.
now.
They'll get
so,
that.
yeah. They'll be like, Dealy and Nobby. Yeah. So thanks.
Or like when they call the capo a capo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That one always throws me off.
That's funny.
It took me a minute on that one. I was like, Cabo.
Yeah, because when we were talking to
Capo.
the guys from Avian the first year,
Right.
and they were all British, except
Yeah.
for Michael, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll give you a capo." And we're like, "What?
Yeah.
A what?"
What are you saying?
That's funny. Well, they don't use Z's either, so you know.
True. Well, I wanted to throw out one more question there for you, and this is something we ask everybody. Of course, obviously, you know, the interview is not over because I'm sure you'll have lots of stuff to share in the collaboration part that we're going to talk about coming up next.
Yes.
But we asked this question of everybody, and so we'd like to get your response. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, superpower.
Yeah, anything at all.
Oh, anything at all. Gosh, that's a good one. I don't know. I'm going to sound a little like hippie-ish here, but I feel like a superpower of being able to like, I don't know, bring calm. I don't know how to say it. Like bring calmness, bring love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like be able to walk in a room and like chill everybody out and like, you know, make it like a fun. I'd like to,
Oh.
Yeah.
just to be able to like calm a room and make everybody happy. That would be a good superpower to
Yeah.
make people happy. How's that?
Yeah, that's great.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I would like that too.
yeah, you know, just
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
We'll throw you into the White House and be like, can you walk through all the rooms here, please?
Just calm everything down.
You're like
Yeah.
Sage. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be that's your superhero
Yeah,
name.
Sage, yeah. And I have teenagers too, so boy, it'd be really nice
Oh,
to
that
walk
would
in
be
that room every day and just be like, chill. Everybody chill.
Okay. Can we make you some coffee, Mom?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you like a glass of wine?
Yeah, did I add in there? Yes, not only to make everybody happy, but then do everything that I say. So. Would that be the ultimate superpower? Yeah, it would be just have the power.
Yeah, you may as well throw that in
The
there.
power.
Too. Since you're making it up your own superhero power, you can do whatever you want with it.
Well, where can folks find you on the internet?
Oh, everywhere. If you look me up, Michelle with 2 L's, Pennington with 1 N. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram. I am obviously my wonderful website. Yeah, I'm everywhere.
Cool.
I recently was lucky to be on the cover of Cave Creek Living magazine, which
I
was kind
saw
of cool. Had a
that.
little article, so that's been a nice boost. It's been everyone's been hiding in their houses, so it's nice to have my face out there
Yeah.
for
I
I
saw
didn't
that.
think about that.
for a
That's
half
true.
a month.
Everyone's home, so you know they're getting
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah. If not, I'm like, hey, look, got a copy.
It's really beautiful,
Oh.
and you look gorgeous. In
Oh,
the
thank you.
photos, too.
Yeah, that's a tough, my age. It was kind of nice ego boost to feel like, hey,
Your age.
I still look cute.
You're like the same age as the last 20 years,
Yeah.
basically.
It's because I'm short.
Yeah, I'm screwed. Us tall chicks, I don't know.
Yes.
We're gonna start shrinking. They'll be like,
Yeah, I'm
"Something's
like a
different."
hobbit. So like hobbits. Just kidding.
Well, let's move on to our tips and tricks section
Let's do it.
and talk a bit about tips for collaboration, or just kind of talking about collaboration. Because, like I mentioned before, songwriting can be a very collaborative effort. But I think it's interesting to think about other ways to collaborate, and that's one of the big reasons we have Michelle with us today. Is that she's done a lot of cross-media collaboration, and I think that's a good mindset to have, because you're going to not only broaden your horizons, but also that kind of feeds back on itself.
Right.
That and feeds back into your own creativity. So, Ashley graciously wrote down some very cool tips on kind of getting started, kind of getting over that hump, because it can be daunting, especially if, you're like a lot of people. You may have some social anxiety, and creatives especially have to deal with that. Like
Yeah.
they can get very self-conscious about their work and
Oh,
their
absolutely.
process in particular.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Or like, well, they're not gonna want to work with me.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I geared this towards musicians because I thought if I didn't pick like one thing to specify, that it was going to be too generic. But that said, I think you can probably use a lot of these examples for other things, and Michelle
Yeah.
can feel free to jump in on some of this stuff. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think collaborations are great because then you can share fans, right? You pull like,
Oh, yeah,
how many of our
100%.
music fans know about you and start
Have
buying
bought
stuff,
my art. Yeah, of
and
course.
vice versa.
Yeah,
So,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Listen
yeah,
to your
lots
music.
of your people come out to our shows.
Yeah.
You had 4 or 5 people come out last night because you're just like, hey, I'm listening to my best friend. She's playing at Grotto. Come out, and people did. So it really, really is beneficial, and you can see it.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So we definitely recommend it. But Ed, if you can,
Yeah, I'll start her off there.
start off.
So again, this kind of keeps cropping up in a lot of our tips and tricks, but just do it. Just find someone that maybe you have if it's another musician, or if it's another songwriter that you're like, wow, I really like what they're doing. Then just reach out.
Yeah.
It's easier than ever now to do that. So you can just reach out. Lots of people's contact info's online, and sort of pitch it that way. Like, hey, I'm a really big fan of your work, and I think we can work together to really create something unique, something special, and give them whatever you're doing at the time. Send along those links. But really frame it that way, like you want to work with this person, and not have them be the backdrop for what you're doing.
Yeah, that's important as well. Is
Yeah.
that you make sure, that it's a mutual thing, mutual
Yes.
respect, and that you're not just expecting.
You're not just doing a favor for somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And and we all have to get a little bit of tough skin as artists over the years, obviously. So if somebody's not interested, they're not interested, and it's not a big deal. You move on to it, then it's not the right mix. It's like relationships; it's just not the right mix. So
Right.
you can't be discouraged that it's personal. Can't take it personally.
Right.
Is, I guess the way what I'm trying
Like
to
if
say.
they say no, don't
It's not because you aren't good enough. It's just not. It's just not the right mix.
Yeah, it's just not the right mix. It's not they're maybe they really like what you do, but it's not
Right.
what they would prefer to collaborate with.
Yeah, and
So-
not everybody likes my art. Not everybody, and that's fine. Not everybody. I mean, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
you got to
It's
get
just-
over that.
You
Huh?
got to get over that stuff.
As
You can't-
musicians,
yeah,
too.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You have to have thick skin.
I used to be like, what? What do you mean? Because I would hear things every once in a while, like, oh, well, they don't like your music, and I'm like, they're just jealous or like whatever. I'm like, no, maybe they really don't like our music, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just not their thing.
There are some
Yeah.
amazing artists out there, and I'm
Right.
like, I appreciate the beauty, and I appreciate what I'm listening to. I think the musicianship is fantastic. It's just not doing it
It's
for
right.
me, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but it doesn't, and it does for millions of others. So like, fine, take that and run with it.
Yeah.
Take what fans you have and appreciate them. Don't worry about the fans that you don't have.
Yep.
Definitely.
Sidetrack.
The next thing we've got here is more geared toward musicians, but don't discount that it would affect other media as well, especially since Spotify is starting to get into more things like they're hosting videos and stuff now.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, for sure.
stuff like that. But collaborate with other artists and release it on Spotify. If you're a musician, make sure it's going to both Spotify accounts. If you're collaborating on music, make sure it goes to both accounts, because then
Yeah.
you're effectively doubling your reach.
For
Which
sure.
no, and I just actually listened to a webinar on this, and don't do like with a word featuring
Right.
Michelle Penington. Obviously, she's not a musician on Spotify, so that wouldn't happen. But I'm just using that as an example. You want to make sure it's like with a word with Michelle Pennington, because if it's just featured, you're posting it on your page. You're not pulling in their fans then, because their fans aren't going to be able to listen to it. So you want to make sure that both artists are releasing this track, and you can do that. I actually was surprised about that, because I thought for a long time like only one of the artists was going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And even on BandLab, like we're not streaming to BandLab today, but we this would be a good tip for them, is like you can both, like typically people go, oh well, who's going to release a track, who's going to do it, and a lot of artists are starting to both release it, and like sure, it kind of splits up the streams a little bit, but who cares? Like who cares if you get 500 streams from here and 500 streams from there? That's still 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ticker doesn't matter. You're still gonna get, especially if you're worried about revenue, the revenue is gonna be the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're getting half and they're getting half. No, you have to split it up anyway according to royalties. So just like make sure you do that.
The amazing revenue that we get from streaming.
Yeah.
is
The
really-
0.00.
And funny enough, which I would think for me as an artist on Spotify is cover art. They put your
Exactly.
cover art up there, so make sure that you're
Make sure you
giving,
credit people correctly.
You're crediting your artists, and
yeah.
it's
Yep.
going to that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Make sure you credit people, because then they'll a lot of people are going to look up those names and either buy prints or commission something, or maybe commission new album art.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You never know.
So-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they should work on that. I feel on Spotify.
I'm trying
They
to
should, like-
think
Be nice.
how you can do that, because I was just thinking about that. I'm like, man, I don't know if there's really a place to do
Yeah,
that though,
they
unless they
should.
put the name in the album art. But often our album art doesn't even
Yeah.
have our own name on it.
They should.
So-
They really should.
Well,
That's
we
interesting.
it's like I don't know how they would need to do like liner notes or something in
Yeah.
a better way.
Yeah, which from what I remember, CD Baby doesn't have support for that yet, because maybe Spotify doesn't have support for it. But that is something it would be easier to do. It should be easier to do. So.
Yeah, when I've been releasing a couple solo things, and when I've been throwing it up on DistroKid and SoundCloud, they do not ask for the artist information on the cover art.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's something we could all write them about.
Honestly,
Yeah, we
like
should.
that's something that's always kind of bugged me, because I listen to Spotify myself, and it'll pop up the cover art,
Yeah.
and you're like, that's it. You
Yeah.
don't get anything. You can't
Yeah.
click on it and get like artist name, whatever website. That
No,
would be
you
fantastic.
can't. There's not even an option to.
Yeah.
You should write him a letter.
I know,
I'll write him a
right?
letter.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even
know.
Amazon
It
It
Music.
wouldn't be that hard.
Like Amazon Music has a really good interface for displaying stuff like lyrics and stuff, but even they still don't display stuff like who did the cover art or anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, or even like the other musicians on the album, like
Yeah.
the liner notes. Those details do matter. So
Right, because then you end up just Googling it, you know, if you want to learn. But
Yeah.
it would be nice if they had it all
it was
for
just
you right there.
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. Side note.
Yeah. Next, have a guest artist on your live streams, like we did today, and we do every Sunday.
Yeah.
But have a guest artist on your live streams. A lot of musicians out there are live streaming now because they can't go out and perform for
Yeah.
various reasons, and so one of the best things is to invite other artists into your live stream. It's easier to do on some platforms than it is on others. Like I think Instagram, it's pretty easy to do. And Facebook, I'm not so sure about anymore.
Yeah.
But I know things like Instagram, it's easy to like pull in a person and have them guest star on your Instagram live stream. Or if you set up something like this, you can pull them in any number of ways.
Right.
But again, it's all about you're collaborating with somebody to kind of extend everybody's reach. So
You're right.
it's more of in a sense, more of a business collaboration. But if it's somebody you really like, then you're obviously going to you're hopefully going to get some inspiration from them as well.
Yeah,
and it could even
exactly.
lead to a creative collaboration down the road.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. And like, yeah, don't be afraid to look outside your genre too. You know, when we had
Yeah.
like Peter Cutler and Sylvia Legat on, they're like, well, why do you want me on? I'm not, and Aunt Mama, they're like, we're not musicians. It's like, yeah, that's why we want you on. Like, we have an artist on our show today, and
Yeah.
like, you don't need it to just be within your genre. Feel free to reach
To
beyond.
reach out, yeah.
There's lots of fans out there, and you're gonna get them in lots of different ways. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then the next one is we actually have an entire episode on this, which
That was one of the earlier ones we did, I think.
yeah. But this find brands to collaborate with, which
Yeah.
most of you guys know. I'm kind of like, some might call me the queen of that, but I really really love getting our endorsements and bigger brands to work with, because number one, then you get free stuff. Number two, you can get paid for it. You can. Number three, it's a kind of a bigger way to get fans. You know, we've had stuff with hotels and guitars, and I've had stuff with jewelry companies and a wine company, and like all kinds of crazy stuff where you get them to throw your brand on. They'll either send you a product and you throw their stuff on it, and vice versa, and you'll all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, there we are in the magazine. So we once somehow managed to convince this hotel to pay us to do a photo, be in their photo shoot.
Yep.
It was like
story.
at a time where we're like, we were like, I think we were having vocal issues, and we're like, how are we going to make more money right now without having to play another gig?
Yeah.
And then we ended up talking to this hotel, and they're like, well, we'd love to do a photo shoot for you guys. And I was like, yeah, it'll be this much money. They're like, okay, cool. Yeah. They passed it. I was like, really? All right.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah, it's just, you never know what you're gonna kind of uncover. And then we've seen our photos pop in their hotel brand at random times, so it's kind of cool to have those connections, and they last too. Those can really last.
Yep.
So, yeah.
What's the last thing there, Ash?
Oh, he's like, what are you talking about? Is basically what Ed's asking me.
Yeah.
So I
What's the the last point?
what I'm trying to say is consistency is key.
Yeah.
So, like Ed said earlier, we do this, and you guys know, if you regularly watch the show or listen to the show, we pull in a guest artist to collaborate with us on this podcast once a week. So, we constantly have a new, and we kind of, there's a bunch of artists that do that. Like Aubryn does that. She was actually our first guest, and
Oh,
she
yeah,
has,
I've seen her show. Yeah.
Yeah, the music
Brings that-
conversation.
Yeah.
She does it a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works really well
Yeah,
for
it
her.
does, yeah.
She gets their fans, and they get hers, and it's
Yeah.
kind of this nice little back and forth, and same for us, and we know some other, Nicole and Scotty are doing that, and it's like, if you do it once, you may not really see much of a much of a return. Like, I think it's different if it's a big project, you know, like our collaboration with Michelle for the Witherward Human album. That was a big project that was it was ongoing. We had you know, we had the release party, and then we had the patrons, and then you sold those paintings off to some of our fans, and then it made on the single, and then it became different graphic art, and then it was like a whole elaborate thing. If you're that, you can do stuff like that and kind of keep it rolling. But if you're not going to do that and you're just going to do something once, then do it often. And consistency is really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a kickstart, as it were, into collaborating with people. And listen back to this if you ever feel you need a little bit of inspiration to try and get out there.
Yeah.
Any questions from our audience? Let's see if we get a few folks sending in questions.
Oh yeah, feel free to throw out your questions for Michelle, questions about collaborations. Any questions will do.
Yeah, we'll do a couple. Yeah, I've always thought that doing the music and painting collaboration was pretty cool. You know, because sometimes you see that kind of stuff in your head, but like you can't ever do that. Like I have no idea how to do that.
Yeah, you know, I think being a visual artist, I think that my imagination is pretty huge in that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and it's funny because I don't know how you guys think of songs. You know, like I get a visual to your song, but I don't really know how you do that your way. So
I don't know.
You know how it just like I'm definitely not good with words. So.
I mean, in a sense, it's almost
You know that.
in a sense it's almost like it's similar, I would say, in some respects, to creating a scene on a painting.
Okay.
In a way, like, because at least for me, whenever I'm constructing this stuff, I can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I would not be able to translate that through my hand onto something.
Gotcha.
Like
yeah.
that's the part I'm missing.
Okay. Yeah, that
You know
makes
what
sense.
I mean?
Yeah.
But I think there are, and I'm not as much of a visual person as Ashley is. But do you feel that way about your songs sometimes, Ash?
Like
do you like see them in your head?
I always see music videos more than
exactly.
I see art.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Which is funny, Ed, because your words are so like.
Yeah, there's like a scene.
There's such a scene in your words. It's funny you don't see that scene. I see your scene.
Yeah, you see it in a still.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, right. That's so funny. No, that's interesting though. Like to hear that. Like that's an interesting.
Sometimes I do. But I often do get visuals, regardless of what they are, to my music for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
That makes
or
sense.
sometimes it comes in the recording process. Like I remember when we were recording Out of Phase.
Oh yeah.
And I just close my eyes.
And Clockwork Heart, yeah.
Yeah, it's a song Ed wrote, and I love that song. And I love the recording of that song so much. And I was listening to it recently in the car, and I was like almost in tears because it's just such a beautiful song, Ed. And you did such a beautiful job with that production too. But I remember being in the studio and just like as we were recording it, and I was closing my eyes, and I just saw like a dancer under a street light and with like a hat and kind of moving around, and there was like one person playing the cello, which I probably got from your painting with the guy with the cello. And I saw this whole scene, and the guy just like ended like doing this elaborate kind of moving a little bit and then moving faster and then like breaking out of this Broadway like intense thing, and as the song goes on and then the scene pops up. I don't know, I saw the whole thing. It was like this really crazy experience.
I remember that. I remember you mentioning that before.
Yeah, because I think I was acting it out for you, which probably wasn't as good as it was in my head.
Like there's this thing and there's this like
then
guy
he
and
does
he's like this.
And they're like,
Oh, Alice wanted to know if I collaborate with other painters. I don't tend to. It's really, I don't know, art like this a little. Art,
Yeah.
It's actually I have a friend. Weirdly enough, his name is Steve Sharon. He lives in Vermont. He's kind of related to the whole Grace
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's a great artist, but he is a abstract artist, and him and I for years have kind of gone back and forth, and we haven't done it yet. But I'm like, I would love to paint something of mine on top of one of your abstract paintings because he uses acrylic,
Oh,
I
interesting.
believe. Yeah, he does. And so then I would take his painting after it dried and maybe add some scene on top of his painting. And we haven't done it yet, like I said, but we've kind of. That's about as close as I've got, but artist to artist, that doesn't work so well. I think there's a lot of
could see
ego
that.
involved. Yeah, it's still different than collaborating as songwriters. Yeah, artists don't like to.
Well, and it can be that way in a co-write. You know,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
But I think like musicians are different.
Well, I
especially-
imagine,
yeah.
especially in a town like, let's say, like Nashville or LA, one of the big centers where there's just a lot of people and everyone's hustling or whatever. I think there's a bigger danger of that happening
Yeah.
with songwriters
There's
collaborating.
a bit of ego, definitely a bit of ego.
But-
It does work as photographers, and like I was saying, I did these paintographies where I took the photographer or the photograph on canvas and then painted on that. That's kind of fun. It's a little different.
Yeah.
Something, but yeah, it's hard to find an artist that's willing to bend because you both have the vision and you're like, well, mine's this, whose looks better. I mean, I hate
Yeah.
to say it, but it's just the
Well,
way
it's
it works.
why you don't see a lot of like co-directors of movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Wachowski brothers are the only people I can think of.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
why
They're
that
brothers.
just isn't a thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
Are they
brothers.
brothers? I don't know. It seems like they are from the name brothers.
Well, I think one's actually a sister now. So,
okay.
but yeah, like I think maybe there's something interesting about the visual aspect of it that is different.
Yeah,
than
well,
audio.
and
I don't
your
know.
style and your, I hate to say it, but it kind of maybe gets a little bit of an ego.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little egocentric, and who's looks better, who's got the, it becomes like it becomes a competition. I feel I could be wrong. Some people probably do it brilliantly, but
Yeah.
it would take, like I
haven't
said,
seen
like
it.
Steve, who is, I love his abstract art. It's super cool stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always been like, wow, I think I can see sometimes when he posts something, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I could add like this in this painting. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And so,
Especially if it's done. Like I think maybe that's probably why it's different with your photography collab because the photography he does his part
yes,
and sends it on to you.
me.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be a little different, but yeah, when you're trying to, it's I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure there are people that do it out there.
I
but-
think it depends. I think it just depends, like everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, that makes-
definitely.
I get. It makes sense though. Like I think like what you're saying, creatives again can tend to have egos about what they do, and so that can get in the way of a collaboration sometimes. But,
Right.
yeah.
Because you got to find the direction, and you've got two people that have, the idea of the direction, and someone's got to give, and no one's given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I guess I don't. Did you see any other questions, Ash?
No, just a couple comments. Like this one from Yvonne says, as a photographer, I see something in my mind, which I try to recreate on the screen or paper. Sometimes it's a struggle to create what I see in my mind's eye.
I actually have a similar problem. Funny enough, I do not sketch out. This is kind of a random fact, real quick. I don't sketch out my paintings, nor do I
Oh.
pre-paint them or anything. It has to come straight. If I get something out, it goes. So if I were to do it, I would be done with it. It's very strange. I don't know why my brain works that way. Not everybody does. A lot of people sketch their stuff out on canvas or
Yeah.
have a vision, but I don't. I have to just go straight in and just do it. So that makes it's more challenging that way as well. But for some reason, once I get that inspiration out, it's out.
Yeah.
That's it, and I'm done. So
Yeah.
stubborn. I'm a little stubborn. What can I say?
You what?
What is the name of the painting behind you? Just I'm just
Promise.
curious. Promise.
It's called Promise. Yes.
Okay. And that one's available.
This is available.
Okay.
Yes. It hangs in my house because it's so massive, and it never really has found a place, and it's also one of my favorite paintings. So I'm a little protective. So I do have about 5 or 6 paintings that I absolutely adore, that I'm really, really, really proud of.
Yeah.
And I show them, but I keep them with me. They don't really stay anywhere. So
Yeah.
this is one of them. It's like one of my babies.
Awesome.
So gorgeous.
Yeah.
I get that. Maybe we'll be able to put it in the photo of it in the show notes, so you should check back on those so you can see it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's on my website.
Okay.
Or that, yeah.
Mhm.
MichellePennington.com.
Cool. All right. Well, shall we end with a song?
Yeah. What? I didn't write a song down.
Yeah, no, I know we were.
Should I go see if the girls want to sing Dragon?
Up
Or
to
you
y'all.
guys could do Fortune Favors.
Can we?
Do you remember it?
I know this is the problem.
I think so.
I think so.
I might have the lyrics anyway.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I need the lyrics. I do need my guitar though, so I'll get that.
Speaking of it, I don't know. It just seemed like the.
Since you always ask us to
Since
do
I
it,
love.
and we
Okay,
always
this is
say we're gonna learn it
literally
and
like
don't.
my favorite. It's one of my very favorite songs.
This one was a collaboration. It
Yeah.
was. I wrote a good deal of it, but Ash wrote like the choruses and stuff. I think the bridge too, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't exactly remember, but she probably remembered.
And you saw my horoscope the other day, Ed, right? You saw at the end.
I did. What did it say?
It said "Fortune favors the bold."
Oh, I'm sorry. I did
yeah,
see
remember? I was like, what? That's why I sent it to you.
that. I did see that. Yeah.
I'm rehearsing. All right, whatever. I'll follow your lead, Ed. I'm gonna screw up all the chords, so this will
Okay.
be fun.
Just pretend to play. Put on
I
the
do
CD.
this. I have this fantastic, trick where I pretend like I'm muting. Yeah, that's cool. I'm playing drums, but I actually don't know the chords. Last night, I played a little live show with Stephanie last night outside, and everyone wanted me to play Nephew, and I was like, you really, like, I don't know it. And Lisa's like, you can do it. I'm like, no, I really don't. Like, I wrote the chords, and then, like, I barely play on that song, because I think it sounds cool for Ed to mostly do it on the electric, and I come in at times. And nobody believed me. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And then they were like, wow, you really don't know it. I'm like,
I don't think you guys
Like I
remember
said.
the words either.
but it was because I didn't know
Yeah.
Oh,
lyrics.
gotcha.
I was like trying to
Okay.
figure out the chords, and so I couldn't. And then I was like, wait, what's this one part? And then I couldn't remember the second half. It would have been fine had I known the chords.
I get that with the musicians. You know, you have so much going on in here. Like I can.
It's
imagine-
a lot
of
sometimes.
words.
Sometimes
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to pick and choose. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, am I going to remember the chords or am I going to remember the lyrics?
Yeah, usually for me, I want to remember the chords. I will always forget lyrics because
Yeah.
I'm much. It's tougher for me to do that, but I think I could do this without help.
I think I'm the opposite. Are we going without no capo?
Did we capo this? I don't think we ever capoed it, did we? Because it'd be pretty high for me if we capoed it.
Yeah, no
Um,
capo.
Hang on a second. Let me plug in my thing here.
This is my red guitar that never gets played. It's so pretty.
It is pretty.
It's like it's a Canadian. Apparently, I like Canadian guitars. This is what gives it away that it's Canadian,
Such pretty wood. The wood, yeah.
right? It's like an Ovation,
Yeah.
but it's a knockoff by a company called Woodward, and it's really dusty,
nice-
and I don't understand why, because it's been sitting in a guitar case. But yeah, it's cool. It sounds better. I don't think it sounds as good plugged in as it does acoustic, but what I like about it, it's like an Ovation, but an Ovation has a plastic back, and this is all wood, whole thing. So
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I don't know what kind of wood.
Okay. Guitar. Oops. Let me switch back here.
Mostly in tune there.
Coco got a hold of it.
yourself?
I'll give it a go.
All right.
Yay! Thank you guys.
Don't you call me a kid. I'm just like you, eating this crow with a silver spoon. So get back in line for your pot of gold. 'Cause fortune favors the old. Fortune favors the old. Throw your things in the car. We've a long drive ahead. Why don't we take it easy? Stay here instead. That's not the American way. Oh, so I'm told. 'Cause fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold.
But I don't have a fortune, I don't have a dime. I'm just doing my best in the heart of my prime. We both have a penny and a story to tell. Let's rub them together and get out of this hell. Out of this hell.
We'll hit a note here and there. The crowd goes wild. You're both proud and bitter. She's just a child. There's a million more notes that are left unsung. But fortune favors the young. Fortune favors the young.
But I don't have a fortune, I don't have a dime. I'm just doing my best in the heart of my prime. We both have a penny and a story to tell. Let's rub them together and get out of this hell.
It's a hard knock life, but you do it again for the ones that you love, for the folks in the stands. If there's one thing I've learned after we've begun, fortune favors the ones. Fortune favors the ones we look up to and hold to impossible standards. Fortune favors the
Like
ones.
doctors and lawyers, inventors, investors, presidents.
Fortune favors the ones.
Oh, and I'm not the one. My song isn't sung.
Favors the ones.
I've just now begun to shout it out loud. But what of the ones who are stuck in life? What of their plight, their sacrifice? So what do I tell my reflection now as the sun sets over the bow? Fortune favors us now.
Oh, thank you guys. I love
We
that
did.
song. That's beautiful.
You're welcome.
You sound great, both of you.
Don't
I
ever
miss
let
you
us
guys.
tell you we don't know it again.
Yeah, nice try.
Apparently we do. It's stuck in there.
We
Yeah,
just
that
ask
one-
every time because it's a good possibility we probably don't remember.
You guys
Yeah.
need to keep that one in the bag because that's just a fantastic song. It
Thank
always
you.
is. It just always, it flows.
Thank
You
you.
want to say bye, Isadora?
Bye. So yeah, we're
Hi, Alice. Hi, Carol. I don't know. Hi, everyone.
thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, special thanks to our guest Michelle Penington.
Yeah.
Find her at michellepennington.com or search Michelle Pennington on your social network of choice. Remember, the edited version will come out on Tuesday on your podcast app of choice. So please remember to like, subscribe, and review when that comes out. And we're going to do the post show right after this. So if you're on that level in Patreon, make sure to check for the link. And we'll do a quick post show with everybody. And yeah, anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Don't forget to follow us on Patreon.
Yeah.
If you
Yes,
haven't
please check out
already.
our Patreon, and we'll do our best to get stuff to you there. We're already putting stuff up there. It's been pretty fun. So,
Hello, Ed.
hello.
Thank you guys
All right.
again.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.